Hello world, my name is Tim Roswick, and today we're going to talk about all the lovely excuses that you make before you start doing things, before you make the things happen, before you take that next step into the journey of whatever you do, game dev, creative works, writing, music, whatever. We all have got excuses. I know I do. Plenty of excuses kept me back. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know my story. 10 years to finish my first game. Quit a bunch of times, procrastinated a bunch, did all kinds of stuff. And the main reason that I did that was because I had excuses to make to myself, right? It's kind of hard to not do something when you have no reason to not do it. When like everything is leading up and you're like, oh, well, obviously that's the next thing I got to do. Outside of procrastination, it's the thing that gets you going. So I thought I'd share 10 excuses that I've had at some point in time and that you probably have that are stopping you from starting. And we want to just cut them shits out so you can just get started, right? Nobody likes to get stopped by excuses and stuff. So excuse number one, you don't need a degree to make a game. Enough said, you don't need a degree. Nobody needs to give you any kind of piece of paper to tell you that you can officially make games. You don't need a degree to learn the things. You don't need college. You don't need any sort of institutional program. You don't need to buy a course. Ironically, I'm working on a course right now, but you don't have to buy it to make games. You don't have to buy it to make games, okay? You can make games right now. You can type in how to make games on Google. You can read that shit. You can pick an engine. You can do all the stuff, and you don't need a degree. You definitely don't need to spend 50 grand in student loans for some piece of paper to make a game. So start making games now, because you know what? It's a waste of time and money most of the time for schooling. There are some benefits here and there. If you know my history, I had a bad experience, so I'm a little biased. But you don't need them to tell you that you can do it. So just do it. Number two, you don't need a team. So many people that I meet are like, hey, well, yeah, I'm just, I want to make a game, but I'm looking for a team because I can't do it myself. And that's great, right? Teams are awesome. I've worked with teams myself. Teams are cool. The more people you have, the more stuff you can do. It's awesome. But you don't need one. And if you're sitting there and you're not starting because you don't have a team, you are in excuse land. And excuse land is a lame place to be. So I recommend that you get out of excuse land and stop looking for a team as an excuse to start. So you can still look for a team, but like get your ass started, if you know what I mean. Because look, it's easier to find a team when you're making shit, right? Nobody wants to join a team with that one guy that never has their stuff or has anything at all to show for it. It's like no, would never join a team from some dude that never made anything. You got to make stuff. That's how you attract people, right? The more you make, the more people are like, oh, I'd love to work with him. I like his stuff, right? Him or her, either one. Excuse number three, you don't need a company to make a game. So many people are worried about all kinds of stuff. And look, I'm not a lawyer. I can't give you legal advice. I just know from personal experience, the company thing trips a lot of people up, especially older people. If you're, your late 20s, early 30s, beyond that, sometimes you can end up in this headspace where like you want to do things the right way, right? Tax implications, legal implications, all this stuff, and you're worried about that whole side of it. Whereas if you approach it from a younger age, a lot of times you don't even think about those things. You're just, you have got other concerns. What are people going to think of me? And what are friends at school going to think and shit? So when you approach it from that angle of like legally and all that stuff, it can get very, very overwhelming because there's all kinds of laws and things that you have to have in place. But here's the thing. Almost all of them do not apply when you don't make revenue. Okay? Like the company thing, the taxes, all that stuff, none of that even comes into play until there's a dollar involved. And the problem is, if you're just getting into game dev, it's going to be a long time before there's a dollar involved, right? So if it's stopping you from starting, that's stupid because you're just wasting your time. Not saying there are not positives to forming companies and looking up tax laws and understanding all that stuff. That stuff is really, really important, but it's not important until there's money involved. And again, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. Maybe there's something I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a superhuman intellect, but I do know that I see a lot of people stop because they're scared that they're going to have some kind of lawsuit or they're scared of something. And a lot of times that's just unnecessary worry. A lot of times that's just your brain giving you reasons to not start, and it shouldn't be. You should worry about those things when you come to them, because you shouldn't let anything stop you from doing something that you might love. You never know. Number 4, you don't need permission from anyone to make a game. This goes alongside of the degree, but you would be surprised how many people look to others for validation. How many are like, hey, I want to make a game, but my friends don't, so guess I'm not making a game. Hey, I want to make a game, but my wife thinks it's stupid, so I guess I'm not making a game. Hey, I want to make a game, but people are making fun of me, so I'm not going to make a game. That shit is stupid, okay? You will not be on your deathbed someday and say, yo, man, I really wish I would have got more permission from people. I really wish I would have, I wish I would have asked for permission before I made my first game. No, you're not going to be saying that shit. You're going to be saying, I wish I made more games. I wish I tried the thing that I didn't try. I wish I did more things that I enjoyed. Okay, you got to think about that. In my last video, I talked about how we're a flying meat sack on a rock circling a giant fireball in a galaxy, right? Like, this shit doesn't matter. So do the things you fucking love and don't pay attention to the people that don't agree with them. Obviously, you got responsibilities. You can't just go full on into it and like forget the world exists and neglect your wife and your kids and all that stuff. But you don't need approval from anybody. You don't need permission from them. Okay, do the things that you want to do and get her done. All right. Number 5, you don't need to know everything or anything. I think that we can use those words interchangeably here, even though they don't mean the same thing. For a long time, because I tend to be somewhat analytical, I thought that I needed like this vast array of knowledge in my head before I started, right? I'm going to be different. I'm going to learn all the things, and then I'm going to do the thing, because then I'm going to know all the things and it's going to be great, and I'm not going to make any mistakes, and I'm going to make $1 million and it's going to be awesome. And the opposite happens, because there's so many things that you can read about, or read online or absorb through GDC videos or whatever. You can understand them conceptually, but they don't hit you the same way as when you make the mistake. And I'm not advocating, well, I guess I am kind of advocating making mistakes. I think making mistakes is good, because like, if you pay attention, you learn more from it. There's so many lessons that I've had to learn multiple times, and maybe this is just me because I'm just hard-headed. I just like to do my own shit. But like, there's so many times where like I'm aware of a thing because I read about it, and then like I ignore that and I do the thing anyway, and then I learn a lesson. I'm like, oh, that's what, okay, I get that. And then there are times too where like I'll make the mistake multiple times, but I'll understand different pieces of the lesson every time. And I think the problem that a lot of people make, I think I just got disconnected from the interwebs, is that like they think that they need all the stuff. And a lot of times that knowledge acquisition is actually a form of laziness, an excuse, a procrastination tactic. And it's interesting when you think about your brain like that, right? Because your brain is constantly trying to prevent you from coming into harm. And a lot of people that do the over research tend to be people, at least in my experience for me, tend to be people that are scared of that failure. I know I personally was like, the reason that I over research things before I start them is because like I don't want to do them wrong. I don't want to fail. So it was like a defense mechanism for me to like prevent me from doing the bad things. But what I've realized later is that just like doing the bad things and learning and just not being hard on yourself is usually a better approach, because like you can learn a whole lot more from experience than you ever can from books. And on top of that, there's a difference between the just-in-time knowledge and the just-in-case knowledge, right? Just-in-time knowledge tends to be the stuff that you learn on the spot. Oh, I need to rotate this cube. How do I rotate a cube in Unity? Boom, that's how you rotate a cube in Unity. Copy, paste, boom, now you got a rotating cube. That knowledge is very valuable because you put it into practice immediately, you learn the thing. The just-in-case knowledge, what happens if I decide to make a procedural generated game one day? I should probably know all of the procedurally generated algorithms and all the stuff that they do, and I should research this topic for 2 weeks for that day that I might make a procedurally generated game. That shit is useless. It takes up time and space in your head. It is not worth it unless it's time for that project. It's a much better approach, in my experience. Your mileage may vary. In my experience, it's a much better approach to say, fuck the knowledge. I'm going to use the just-in-time information. I'm going to look stuff up as I need it, and I'm going to build this thing. And every roadblock that I hit, I'm going to Google right there and find that knowledge, because that's the knowledge that's relevant to me, and that's the stuff that's going to help me move forward. All of this other stuff that you could use possibly one day, it may be useful, but most of the time it's just stopping you from actually doing the thing. So don't get stopped from doing the actual thing. Number 6, no one wants your idea. I got a video about this. Nobody gives a shit, man. If you think people are going to steal your idea, let me tell you, you should spend a week trying to get somebody to steal your idea. That's how you want to change your mind on that? Try and get somebody to steal your idea. That shit is hard, okay? Everybody has their own ideas. Everybody wants to make their own game. They don't want to make your game. They want to make their game. And if you think that your idea is all that much, you probably never made a game before, because you don't realize, one, how inaccurate the idea can actually be. Because once you get down to doing the thing, that idea, it may be a core, it may be like a nugget, it may be a seed, but the game is like a tree, right? And you started with the seed, but you don't realize all the stuff that goes into making the tree, all the things the tree has to do, all the arrangements of the bark and the leaves and the branches, and how they have to support the wind and aim toward the sunlight. Like, you don't realize all that stuff. So the idea isn't as valuable as execution. You probably heard this plenty of times, but there's 2 main points to it. One, everybody has their own ideas. They really don't care about yours. 2, even if they do steal your idea, I promise you, their shit's going to come out different than your shit. So, okay, we just said internet, now we're getting light dims. Great. The apocalypse is coming. Anyway, ideas are not the thing. The thing is the thing. And if you don't create the thing, the idea never mattered anyway. So, if you're worried about the idea, if you're worried about someone stealing the idea, the best way to combat that is to just do the thing. Just do the thing. And I promise you, that is going to be a better alternative than trying to hide from the world, or isolate yourself, or never get feedback, or all the dumb things that you do thinking that people are going to steal your shit, okay? Don't overvalue the idea, because the actual value is in you, your brain, your version of the idea, and your execution, okay? So just don't go there. Someone on stream asked me one time, they were like, Tim, what would you do if I stole the idea for Philophobia and I made a game about love being hell? And I was like, I wouldn't care, because like you can't make the same game from the same experience that I have. You can make a game based on a similar premise. Actually, someone did make a game on a similar premise, love being hell, and it's completely different than my game, and that's okay. It's like the same core concept, the same core idea, 2 different kind of versions, so it doesn't matter. What are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 7. People will always reject you and hate on you. That's number 7. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people use that as an excuse. I don't want people to hate me, right? I don't want someone to, and this is one of those things that people don't say usually. They don't say, I'm scared of rejection. It's usually one of those things that manifests itself in other ways. And actually, this is one of those core underlying causes of so many excuses, because it was for me. I would make up excuses like, oh, I can't do that because X reason. But the real reason was I was really scared of what people were going to say. I was really scared about what people that played my game might say. I was really scared they weren't going to like it. I was really scared somebody's going to, like, it was like my worst nightmare that someone was going to pay $10 for my shit and like have a bad time. And like, I think the worst scenario was like to have the game not work, which I was terrified of. But not liking it was just as bad, because I had this whole thing where like my game represented me, and if somebody rejected the game, they're rejecting me in a way. And you know, with a history of bullying and feeling like you don't really belong in social groups, that can be exaggerated, because you really, really want people to accept you. You want that validation, and when you create a thing and someone doesn't like it, it can hurt your feelings when they talk shit about it or you sometimes. It definitely has happened with me with YouTube, and I've gotten better at it because them YouTube comment section, it's fun, but the thing is, they're always going to reject you and they're always going to hate on you. And like, I don't know how else to say it, because this is one of those lessons that I've had to learn 100 times. But if that is something you're scared of, the better approach is to not abandon the idea of the thing because you're scared of what people are going to say. It's to do the thing and get better with dealing with the rejection. Because if you're going to go anywhere in your life, you're going to make any money, you're going to get good at anything, somebody somewhere is going to have a problem with that. And it sucks, but it's part of dealing with the world. And a lot of the people too, that like, the way that I deal with it is I don't see it as a problem with me. Like, it's not the same thing as feedback, right? People can give you feedback and be accurate and you do things wrong or whatever, and you can take that and you can grow from it. But the rejection is something that a lot of times people do when they are unhappy with themselves, or they do because they're unhappy with their creations. And it's a lot easier to deflect and to bring someone else down than it is to try and build yourself or them others up. A lot of people don't have that positive energy in them to even build someone else up. So they just try and take energy. They're like takers. They're like energy vampires, right? And again, you just got to realize that that's a problem with them, not with you. And as someone that wants to make a positive contribution to the world, that wants to help the world, I see it as a better alternative to get good at dealing with them. And at the end of the day, let me just remind you something. This is something I've really only learned in the last year. The motherfucking block button, let me tell you, that is my new favorite button. I used to get so stressed and so anxious. Somebody would say some horrible shit, or they're coming to stream and they disrupt the whole stream, and it would make me so anxious, and it would just be bad. And I was just, wait a second, I can just this is some random person on the internet. I could just hit the block button. I don't give a fuck who they are. They're coming and interrupting my day. They're messing up my mental space. I don't need to give them any warnings. I could just hit the ban button. I could ban people on Twitter. I could ban people on... I just fuck it. I don't have to listen to any of that shit. It's not how I treat my community, because I believe in free speech for the actual community. But for my own personal social media, anybody that disrupts my brainwaves, fuck it, ban them. If they're mad they got banned, I'd probably ban their alt account too. I don't care. I just get them out of my face, because my mental space and my headspace is really, really important. And if someone I feel is trying to bring me down, again, it's different from feedback. I'm open to feedback, but you got to be respectful, right? If you're going to be a disrespectful asshole, fuck you. You can go on someone else's social media. So number 8, it is the perfect time right now. It wasn't a year ago. It wasn't 10 years ago. It's not 5 years in the future. It's not next year. It's not next August. It's not in January. It's not when you have time off for the holidays. The best time is right now. You're watching this video. Why are you not starting? You. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Why are you not starting? If you haven't started yet and you got all these excuses, why are you sitting here watching YouTube videos? You should be starting. The best time is actually 10 minutes ago, but the second best time is now, right? You know, just make your shit happen, do your shit. Don't worry about timing, man. You're never going to get timing right. And the people that worry about getting timing right are the people that will never get anything done at all, right? Timing is luck more than anything. If you're thinking about all kinds of stuff and when to start, when would be the most, if you're trying to plan it out, it's not going to work. I had this thing when I was driving for a long time, and this will tell you something about my personality. I would so when I was on the freeway in LA, I have to get off the exit in 10 miles. So I would optimize my lane changes to always be on that side, because it would give me anxiety changing lanes or shit. So I'd just be like, all right, I got to get off to the right in 10 miles. So I'm just going to ride that lane all the way. Even when it was slower, it was something I would always do. I would just optimize. And that kind of optimization can just break so many things in your life, right? And if you're looking for the perfect time, if you're trying to optimize in that way, where I've been looking for this perfect opportunity to start, I need this and this and this and this, and I need all this kind of stuff to go right, and I need the timing right and all that. You could have started. All that energy you're putting into finding the perfect time, you could have just fucking started. Why are you not starting? That's a bad excuse. What are we on, number 9? You'll be older anyway. This is something my mom used to tell me. Yeah, well, shit, I'm gonna be, I don't want to be 30 by the time I make, you're gonna fucking be 30 anyway, okay? You're gonna be 40 anyway, you're gonna be 50 anyway. You might as well get the shit done. If you're worried about how much time it's gonna take, or you're worried about whatever, right? You're gonna get older anyway. In a year from now, you're gonna be a year older. You might as well have started now, because didn't you wish you started a year ago? Imagine if you did start a year ago. You'd be a year in by now. That time is going to pass anyway. It's literally going to be the same amount of time, whether you like it or not. You might as well do something useful with it. And one of the things that I do, rip headphone users. One of the things that I do that has really helped me tremendously, and this is something I learned from Ryan, which you should watch our interview with Ryan from Blip Sounds, because he kind of inspired this idea, is basically to separate my days out into projects. So I have different projects assigned to different days. For example, this day is the day that I record videos, that I take care of my YouTube stuff, and I go through all that stuff. This is a specific day that I've dedicated to this specific project. And even though it's a small thing, right, this video will not be that long, hopefully. And, that it's not a big project on its own. It's not a massive project. It moves me forward, right? Just like I have days dedicated to my games, I have days dedicated to my book, I have days dedicated to different things. I may make a little bit of progress on each day, but it's happening consistently. A little bit of progress over a long amount of time can get you really, really far. A lot of people think they have to dive in and get a lot of progress in a little time. That's how you burn out, and that's how you overwhelm yourself, and that's how shit goes bad. If you could just get a little progress over a long time, you can make a much bigger impact. If you forget, this channel was built on daily, uncut, unedited videos, and this is going to be one of those uncut, unedited videos. There are people that have passed me. There are people that are way better at quality and editing. There are people that got video skills that I don't got. I don't have video skills, man. That didn't stop me from making YouTube, right? That didn't stop me from making videos. I do what I can do, and I do the little bit that I can do consistently. Forgetting that 3-month break that I took. We're gonna skip right past that. No, but for real, like doing a little bit over a long amount of time, people underestimate the power in that. Consistency is super fucking powerful. And if you could just do a little bit, right? Like if you haven't started yet, could you download an engine? Download Unity, Unreal. You don't even have to install Construct. That's what I use. You could just go to the web browser and fucking run it right there. Could you do that? Could you open it? And then tomorrow, could you do something else? Could you add a cube in there? Add a square if you're making a 2D game, right? Little fucking things. Even if it's a little step forward, it's still a step forward, and it's closer to your goal than you were before you did it. Number 10, you're not scared of success. People say that all the time. I fucking hate this. Because my parents used to tell me that. They're like, no, I don't want to do it. Tim, you're just scared of success. No. You know what that fucking is? That's laziness. You're not scared of success, you're scared of work. And I used to do this. I remember when I was and I went through my like startup phase where I like wanted to be a startup billionaire. I don't even know. And I was making all these different web apps and stuff and just spending so much time, and I would like get overwhelmed because I'd be like, okay, if I release this and I get 1,000 users, and then I have to, it's gonna take up all my time, and like I'm busy, I'm doing these other stuff, and then like what if it takes up my time? So I'd end up not even launching it because like I would be so worried that like the server was gonna go down or whatever. And I realized that was not being afraid of the success. That was afraid of the work that comes with the success. That was afraid of the dedication that it would take to keep all that shit running. That was afraid of the responsibility that fucking shit with 1,000 users would take to run and stay up. And I did that. I don't even know. I can't even count how many times I did that because I was just scared. And everybody would tell me the same thing. Tim, you're scared of success. No. Success is fun. Success is awesome. Responsibility and work and dedication and all that. Can I have the success without the hard work, please? Can we just do that? No, it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, you got to put in the work, man. And a lot of people, that's like a valid excuse, especially in American culture. It's like, you're afraid of success. I understand. No, motherfucker, you're afraid of work. Okay? Put in the goddamn work. Do that shit. Time's gonna pass anyway. Number 9, remember? That's you're gonna be a year older, you're gonna be 5 years older, you're gonna be 10 years older, you're gonna be laying on your deathbed. And you can't even start working on a video game? Can't even start writing a book? Get to it. And a bonus number 11. I know I said 10, but we're gonna bonus number 11. Look, this is the worst of it all. And this isn't an excuse. This is something that comes along with the excuses. You fucked up. You made excuses. You didn't start when you should have. Things went bad. You should have started a year ago. All that shit. While it may be true, while it may be factually correct, sometimes that comes with anxiety-al. Is that a word? With bags of anxiety. Let's just say that. You got a backpack. You got some baggage on your back. And it's got a whole bunch of anxiety because you did things wrong, or you fucked up, or you didn't start when you should have, or you wasted time, or you're fucking 35 and you live in your mom's basement and she's mad at you and you don't have any life skills, whatever. Don't let the anxiety cripple you, man. Don't beat yourself up about that shit. You made a fucking mistake. So what? We talked about the value of mistakes earlier. We talked about how valuable it can be to learn from those things. And I think one of the reasons, like, I just turned 30 last December. I'm gonna be 31 this December. And it's interesting because everybody always said, like, oh, when you hit your 30s, you understand X. Like, they would make that idiom or saying or whatever the hell that is. And I'd just be like, no, like, you don't just learn some magical shit. But I realized that, like, when you have that many years of life experience, you start to realize things. You get the experience. Right? It's not just about the knowledge. I always thought it was about the knowledge. It's about the experience, going through things. And when you go through things enough times, you start to be able to predict when things are going to happen, right? You need to do that with your anxiety. And you need to say, hey, you know what? I fucked up today. I didn't do my shit. I didn't start when I should have, whatever. But that anxiety, that guilt, that stuff, those negative feelings that come along with fucking up, are the problem. Fucking up is not the problem, because there's really, like, no problem that you can't come back from outside of, I don't know, some very severe crimes. And even then, there's, you know, my video stopped. Are we still on? All right, we're rolling with it. See, when life fucks up your shit and turns off your camera but keeps the thing rolling, you gotta roll with it. Sometimes shit happens. Don't let it give you anxiety, right? This almost gave me anxiety because I'm looking at the clock. I'm 28 minutes into a video and I'm like, well, shit, I got to record all that shit again. Nope, it's still rolling. Never fucking mind, right? It's a beautiful mistake. Shit happens. And that's okay, all right? Do not let the anxiety or the guilt cripple you. Do not. You've fucked up before. Learn from that. And say, hey, when I'm in this situation or scenario, I'm not going to fuck up again. Do that. Make it happen. Improve yourself. Learn from your past mistakes. Make shit happen. So, my name is Tim Roswick. I hope you enjoyed this long-ass video. This is what I've been doing a lot, long-ass videos. I'm glad that you hung out with me for a half hour. It's been fun. I get a little ranty, as always, but I want to appreciate you being here, and I want to make sure that you start right now if you haven't started before. Whatever you got to do, man. It may not be a game. Do your shit. Handle your shit. My name is Tim Roswick, and I'll see you later. Hey, if you want more content like this, I highly recommend you check out the stuff on the rest of the channel. We have all kinds of stuff on game dev, motivation, self-improvement, all kinds of stuff. But if you make games or you want to make games, I highly recommend you join our Discord channel. We have game developers from all over the world, and you can, you know, do your game dev a little less lonely, or you can learn some new skills and meet some new people. So I'll see you there.